I got a note. Trump officials struggled to reinstate nuclear weapons staff after firing hundreds. Trump administration officials scrambled through the weekend amid a flood of criticism to claw back employees they fired Thursday evening at the National Nuclear Security Administration. 4 people familiar with the terminations and their fallout told CNN. More than 300 employees were initially fired at the agency that is tasked with managing America's nuclear weapons. All but around 25 NNSA staffers have since been reinstated. 2 current NNSA employees with knowledge of the matter told CNN. It's unclear how many will return to work Tuesday. The firing created days of chaos inside the agency. Officials backtracked on the terminations Friday after multiple members of Congress petitioned Energy Secretary Chris Wright to reverse course, explaining the dire national security implications. President Donald Trump said Tuesday he was not concerned about the firings. Now, you know what's crazy? They got fired by a 19-year-old from Doge because he didn't know what they did. What they're doing is they're giving 15-minute interviews to people that have federal government jobs, and they're asking them, hey, why are you important? And after 15 minutes, they're firing him. They don't know what they do. He was a 19-year-old kid who doesn't know shit, and he fired these people. Just because then he came out and said, hey, well, I didn't know what they did.
And that was his reasoning right there. I didn't know it. But let me say this to you, too. One of the hardest hit offices was the Pantex plant near Amarillo, Texas, which saw about 30% of the cuts. Those employees work on reassembling warheads, one of the most sensitive jobs across the nuclear weapons enterprise, with the highest levels of clearance. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of incompetence that you guys voted for. And you're going to be like, oh, that was just a mistake. Make an excuse for it like you always do. Everything's an excuse for these people. I mean, you guys you're angry at people who work in Washington. You're angry at everybody. You're really angry at yourself for your own decisions you made in life. This is our nuclear staff that you just fired. Now they're talking about, we didn't even know how to get back in touch with them. This is what they didn't want to talk about this because they don't ever want to talk about the stupidity of what they're doing. Why didn't they come in here with a satin glove and do this instead of with a hammer? Because they're not doing it for the American people. He's really trying to tell you guys, he's trying to show you fake fraud so that when he steals $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for the wealthy, you guys think that, they've already paid for this with all the billions that someone tried to tell me it was like $2.7 trillion. I think that was my cousin kept saying the number. This is my guy. I laid it down, cuz, but he kept on saying $2.7 trillion they found in fraud, which is just, it's not even close. They haven't found anything like that. It's not even billions yet. They haven't found, when they talk about fraud, they're talking about contracts that the government already has. Like with the so-called DEI, where they're like, we're going to give some of these contracts to people of color. Pull those those are American workers that are no longer working on jobs that have to be done. It wasn't like the job didn't need to get done. They just didn't want them doing it. That's the problem here.
Yes.
And so, I mean, at the end of the day,
and they fired hundreds of aviation people this week alone. You know what I'm saying? How many planes? We got a plane falling out the sky every day.
They said that more planes have fallen out the sky since Trump has been in office than in Biden's been his whole entire tenure in office. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy right there. That spells out. That's like speaks volumes.
People are scared to fly.
I mean, I'm kind of lightweight nervous myself when I saw that Delta airline flight, how it hit it and then spun upside down. I'm like, man, people died. I mean, some people lived. I was hoping out. I'm thinking like, would I have lived? Didn't nobody die?
Nobody died. Everybody lived.
Shit, it looked like somebody.
The pilot saved everybody.
He did a great job. He pulled.
People got injured. I ain't gonna lie. People got hurt.
He pulled one of the maneuvers by
Sully.
And I didn't know if people died or not. It just looked like because the plane blew up when it hit. The whole thing didn't blow up, but it was caught on fire.
The engine, the engines are on the end of the plane, so that when it spun around, the wings went off. You know what I'm saying? It was upside down. Nobody died because they got to it quick enough, and it was cold, so they're spraying it down while the people are escaping. People were injured, though.
Well, honestly, I'm happy that nobody died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that. I take that back.
But people, I've watched people, and what they do with planes, like you have to do so many safety checks before you even turn the plane on. Because the pilots will say that. They'll be like, hey, you have to check this. You have to check this. You have to check all this stuff. Because if one thing is messed up, that plane will go up and it'll come straight down.
Why the hell did it crash in the first? Because it seemed like a lot of snow. I'm not sure because it landed. It seemed like it had a hard landing and then it spun over.
It could have been a lot of things, bro. The landing gear could have messed up. It could have been the weather. You know what I'm saying? We'll never know because you're firing. See, people think, oh yeah, let's make the government smaller. You don't understand. We're naturally stupid people. Okay, let's just put it out there. Okay, you may not feel that you're stupid, but you know about 5 stupid people. They're in your vicinity. You're probably related to them. We need all these safety regulations to make it so those stupid people go outside and they don't kill themselves.
Or other people.
That's why we have this stuff in place. You'd be like, the government's too big. It's supposed to be big. We're fucking America. We're supposed to have a big government.
Yeah. And we're a huge country full of a lot of people. The third largest populated country on earth.
Well, we're about to see, watch, when the water's too poison for you to drink, when your kids are dying from disease that they're getting from another kid because they didn't get vaccinated. When you try to get on a train and it derails, or a plane and planes keep falling out the sky, or the wheels fall off a city bus,
pollution,
or a street collapses, or something happens, like, they're cutting FEMA right now. So when look, Detroit's underwater right now. Did you see Detroit?
Yep.
Man, they people I ain't seen nothing like that.
15,000 IRS workers during tax season are being laid off as well.
Yeah, I'm glad I got my taxes.
You know what I mean?
Next year, I don't know about that, but